Hey friends, Zayda here, and today I want to talk to you about something, basically your vagina. I know it sounds a little bit over the top or a little bit vulgar, but it's really not intended to be. So about a week ago, I went to the gyno for the first time, which I had been putting off for a long time. And before I went, I was trying to look up some videos to see how it would be like to ease myself, and I couldn't find any. All I found were like medical term videos, which were, I guess, good, but they're still not like getting real life advice or hearing someone's real life experience. So those really weren't what I was looking for. And then I also found like the 23-minute genitalia examination video, which really scared me because I was thinking someone was going to be in there for 23 minutes, and I was so pissed off because I watched it with my boyfriend, and afterwards I just didn't want him looking at me, hugging me, touching me, like anything. And I was so mad that I had to go to the gyno and have someone put like metal machines inside of me for 23 minutes, because that's basically what the video was. And I can tag it if you really want to watch it, but I don't think you do. So anyway, aside from all of that, there was some reasons why I had been putting it off for so long, and I guess the number one reason was because I grew up thinking via my mother, if you're not having sex, you don't have to go to the gyno. And I guess it was just never really something that was instilled in me as important. But now that I'm older, I see that it is very, very important, especially if you are active. I know people are a lot more active now than they were back in the day at a lot younger ages, so you need to go check yourself. But aside from just being active or not, you need to go because there's other things that could be going on down there or up here that have nothing to do with intercourse. So I know it's scary, and I really wasn't sure what to expect. And another problem is that when you want to go to the gyno, usually it takes about a month for you to get your first visit in, because I don't know what it is, but it takes a long time for them to be able to schedule you in as a new patient. So I guess for me, after being in school for so long and like working and things like that, every time the visit would come around, I would have something going on, so I wouldn't make time for it. And that was really bad on my part, and honestly, looking back, I really regret taking so long to go because it really wasn't that big of a deal. The average visit's about 5 minutes long. So really, that video that I watched was, I guess in a sense, good, because it prepared me for something that really wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't going to be scary. So let me get started and tell you how it went. Okay, so I made an appointment, and they were able to schedule me. Like, I'm always hot in here. I don't know what it is. And like recently my fan has been really, really lame. Like, it hasn't been... Okay, so anyways, I think also because I'm like freaking out because I have to go to work soon. But anyway, so I called, and then they were able to schedule me exactly a week later, which is basically unheard of in gyno world. And I was like, okay, so that kind of just helped me not get too busy and actually go. They ask you to go 15 minutes early because they do have like a little survey that you fill out, and you have to be very, very honest in the survey because they're not there to judge you, and technically they won't even share your results via telephone if you don't want to, because you do sign a privacy form. So really, just be honest. Someone's there to judge you. If you think you're scandalous, there's always someone who's worse than you, and really, it's really not a big deal. They ask you stuff like, have you ever had an abortion? Have you had a miscarriage? How many sexual partners you have? And I think that stuff can be really embarrassing for women because we grow up basically being sexual objects. I mean, come on now, like every girl wants to be naked online now and like posting stuff like that, but when someone wants to talk about their menstrual cycle or like just being healthy down there, it's such a big deal, or your menstrual cycle is gross and things like that. But it's not gross, and it's not really something to be ashamed of at all. So you go, you fill out your questionnaire. For me particularly, I can just tell y'all like what happened. So I went in there, they took my blood pressure and my weight and things like that. Then I went into the office, well, the consultation office, or what is it called? I guess the room. And the nurse was just asking me some questions, and then she asked me if I take calcium, and I was like thinking, do I? She's like, do you drink milk? I'm like, okay, there's a lot of fruits and vegetables that contain a lot more calcium than milk does, but I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, so the doctor ended up coming in, and then she was giving me sex advice, which I thought was kind of weird. And I got really, really red, and I started getting so hot, so I'm sure she noticed. And then after that, she just started implying that I might be too young to be having intercourse, which, whether I am or not active, I'm 25 years old, so I'm pretty sure I'm old enough to be doing my thing. So I was just like, okay, I wasn't really saying a lot, but I did have some concerns and some questions. And that's another thing that I really do think you should do before you go. You need to think about your body, your menstrual cycle, needs, wants, concerns, because technically you're only going in there once a year, so you don't want to just go in there dumbfounded. You want to be ready to discuss things that are important to you. So I was asking her some questions, and then after that we started the actual examination down there. So I was wearing 2 pieces of, like, I guess a paper. One of them was open in the front because she was obviously gonna check my breasts, and then like a little skirt for the bottom. And on that table that they have, she asked me to scoot all the way to the front, basically where my bum was kind of hanging out of the chair / table, and then I plopped my legs up. And all in all, I want to say she was in there about like 3 minutes. She had like, what is the word? I don't know what, oh, I'm having like a brain. She had a lubricant. And she just put 2 fingers inside, and then she used her other hand to kind of feel around on the top of my stomach, because what that does, it just checks your organs to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be and it feels healthy, and you know, just check everything, make sure it's fine. And then they also grab like a little piece of your skin, which sounds so scary. Hey, Ma. My mom just like walks out. It sounds so scary, but it's not, because they just like, they get like a little cotton swab and they just take a little, I guess like a piece. It sounds scary, but it's really not. Like, you hardly even feel it, and then they send that into a lab to just make sure. And that takes about a week for you to get the results. But you can either, you call them, and then also you sign that privacy waiver again so that they cannot release any information. And then afterwards, she just was saying that she was going to check me for, I'm just laughing because the fact that my mom like walks in and she doesn't say anything. She thinks it's so normal that I'm such a loser. Anyways, and they check you for gonorrhea and chlamydia, which after that, that's when I basically blacked out, because I don't know, I guess I knew they were going to check me for stuff, but just like thinking about how, you know, some people have diseases, it kind of just overwhelmed me. But because of that, I blacked out, and I don't remember her checking my breasts, but it was so fast that I didn't even really notice. And I think that's about it. You do the pap smear, which they want to see if you have like any type of cervical cancer. And I did write this down just because I didn't want to forget to tell y'all anything. And I just like having notebooks. Let's see. Okay, so that's pretty much it. They do that. Just make sure you are aware of your typical cycle before you go in, because I did get lectured by one of the other doctors for not knowing mine. So I did download an app now, so I'm going to keep up with it. I know being an adult is so hard, and that's basically it. Now, I know a lot of people take birth control for different reasons, so if that's something that you do consider doing, make sure that you look up not symptoms, you look up why you want it and just side effects and things like that before you accept anything, because they're very willing to give you like any kind of medicine, but I wouldn't just take it so fast, because you need time to think about it and realize why you want this, why you don't, and make sure it's something that you want, not because other people are telling you that you want or need it, because you might not. So just make sure you do what's right for your body, and do a lot of research, be prepared, ask questions, and don't freak out. And another thing is, make sure if you prefer a woman doctor that you do ask for one, because I just assumed mine was by the name, which luckily it was. And I think for us girls, like us shy girls, I think that's going to be a lot better, so I do recommend that. And just looking back on this, it's really not scary. It's very, very quick, and it's so important regardless of, you know, your background and things like that. Some of us come from very conservative backgrounds, especially me, because my family is Mexican and super Christian. And for me, just, you know, talking about it or even thinking about my vagina was something that was always so taboo. But it really isn't. I mean, it's your body. You shouldn't be afraid or scared or shy of it. I mean, I'm not saying go and show everyone your privates or just anything like that, but I'm saying just with your own self and your own state of mind, you shouldn't be shy or scared of what's going on. And if you have any concerns, instead of putting it off, the first thing you need to do is go and check yourself. And really, if you think about it, everybody should have insurance now thanks to Obama. So there's really no excuse as to why you shouldn't go. So if you need any kind of pep talk or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. I'm no expert on this kind of stuff, as you can tell, but I just want to make a video where I could tell you it's not a big deal, and just go and do it and check yourself, and you really don't even have to tell anyone that you're going if you're embarrassed or anything like that. So it's better to know, better to find out, and keep yourself straight down there, because you only have one. and you need to be careful with it. So yeah, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bisous!